Okay.
Okay, right.
Yes. Okay. Good evening, Hemant. How are you?
I'm
Great to
fine,
see you.
Mr. Rahul. Yes,
Yes.
nice to see you after a long time.
After a long
Yes,
time. After a long time.
yes, yes.
Great to get back on one of our old topics, isn't it? Communication.
Exactly.
What we've been
Yes,
doing for a long time, trying to understand it.
yes, yes.
We've spent some
Absolutely,
time
absolutely.
speaking
Yes,
about it, studying about it, and now
exactly.
we try to go further and further and deeper into exactly what it is and how. And today's topic is going to be about communication and exactly how or why it's so important in the modern world.
Yes,
In today's world where there's so much breakdown of relationships, not just between individual people, but between nation states and between large entities like companies and corporations, merely on the basis of the fact that they don't get or understand, get each other or understand each other or come to terms to really knowing where they both stand. Like we see it all the time, anywhere across the
correct.
world if we go. You know?
True, true,
So
true.
yeah, so from all our classes, everything that we've ever done before, what have
Yes.
you come to understand by the term communication, and why do you think it's so important? What's your opinion?
Yeah, actually, communication is basically the basic meaning of communication. As you know, it's transfer of information between two individuals, or it can be between more than one individual also. It can be multiple communication between many people. So it's basically transferring your idea or what you have in mind to say. It can be any type of communication. It can be public speaking. It can be one-to-one communication between a husband and a wife, communication between friends. So, from my understanding, communication, the mode of communication or the language of communication actually changes as per the situation. Like, for example, if, like, for instance, recently I went on an official tour about 4 or 5 months ago. My principal, that is the company with whom I am associated as a sales associate, they had called for a sales meeting. So we went to Delhi, and from Delhi, the whole sales team, we sat in the bus and went to the particular venue, which was in Himachal Pradesh at a place called Kasoli. So it was an overnight journey. So the kind of communication that we had in the bus, it was communication. Everybody communicating and talking to each other in a very friendly manner. So it was something very informal. So that was a type of communication. But the moment we reached the venue, and then the official sales conference started, the mode of communication was entirely different. So yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, situation to situation, uh, based on the situation, the mood and the tone of the communication changes. So what the type of
Environment
communication?
is basically a very important
Exactly,
factor. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Yes, and the
that's
environment is
very
very. It's very. It determines the language that you speak, the mood that you create, and hence the communication also accordingly differs.
right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Generally,
Yes.
what we're saying is the context influences the nature of communication, right? So the way that you
Exactly.
communicate with people are in a maybe in a setting where it's more formal, like you just mentioned now, where in the
Yes.
business setting or in the sales meeting setting, you altered the way that you perceived or the way that you expressed yourself, rather, to your audience, isn't it? Whereas
Exactly.
while you were
Exactly.
with your friends, you felt that there was a lot more, uh, maybe a casual kind of expression of the self,
True.
but as
True.
opposed to one so formal in your business meeting. So
Yes.
generally, I would say that's a very interesting insight. But I'd say, like, what is your opinion? Like I'd written in my book there about communication being a process of understanding, a process where people come to terms with each other or come to because a lot of people, like for instance, if you're on your sales meeting, there's a lot of people who might not get exactly in what way they are benefited by the product that you're trying to sell them or the product that you're presenting in front of them. They might not really understand that. So, in what way would you go about or try to present the case so that they can understand it better? What is the
One.
mechanism that you think that?
Yeah, it's a very good question because See, communication in the sense, let us talk from the point of view of selling. So when I'm selling a product, definitely I have to understand the audience. First, I have to understand the customer and accordingly tailor it to the according to tailor the communication. For instance, let us take my own industry. I am basically into selling of interior products, interior floorings, interior false ceiling, interior acoustic panels. So I meet a varied number of customers. The main customers, of course, are interior designers and architects. But there are also end users. Now, for instance, let us take, say, Coimbatore or Erode, because I work in Tamil Nadu also. Now, supposing I go to a Coimbatore interior designer and sell false ceiling, the kind of presentation that I make to the interior designer or in a Coimbatore-based architect will be entirely different to the one that I'm making to a factory owner. Because when I make it to an interior designer, he will definitely be more interested about the technical aspect of the product. So a lot of details. For instance, if it is false ceiling, the noise reducing coefficient (NRC), the other acoustic properties, from what material it is made, and all these and of course the kind of warranty that are giving, that we are going to give, and service part of it, that comes in the end. But more it will be technical. It will be technical based. Whereas if I'm going to actually meet the actual user in say it could be a garment factory, say, because for instance Coimbatore, Erode, basically they are more of textile based industries. There the owner or the end user who is going to buy this product, he will be more interested in the pricing and how it is going to serve. So I'll have to accordingly tailor it, or what should I say, I'll have to modify my communication, and then I'll have to tell him what are the benefits that he's going to get in terms of the money that he's spending. Because we are when I'm talking to an end user, say a factory owner, he's a businessman, so he will always expect returns on investment. That is how business works. They'll be pakka businessman. So he's not bothered too much about the product. The product may be A class. For instance, I'll give you an example. We sell vinyl flooring. More than false ceiling, I would say vinyl flooring. So vinyl flooring, you get products starting from 30 rupees per square feet to 200 to 250 rupees per square feet. The type of vinyl flooring that I sell, it is above medium priced. I mean, high quality. It goes about 150 or 160 rupees up to 250 rupees. So the first question which I have been posed by these factory people, because vinyl is a very good product for factories. At present, majority of the factories use epoxy flooring in Tamil Nadu, but vinyl is a good substitute. But I have been asked a number of times by these factory people. Okay, I have talked to them about its warranty and the durability. This, if you use this, you will get for 10 years. You don't have to look back. I mean, it will stand because of the rough usage and the kind of equipments that is being used, and also the machinery that is being used. It will be a one-time investment. But what they say is, why should I spend so much of money? I don't mind. I don't mind using a product which wears off in 1 year. I don't mind using. So why should I spend 150 rupees when I get vinyl flooring for 30 rupees or 50 rupees, or the existing epoxy flooring itself? Why don't I just do the repainting? As you know, epoxy flooring, the application itself is entirely different. It's a liquid which is actually poured on the floor and then it is applied. So there I will have to explain to. So normally in such a case, because communication, Mr. Rahul, is a learning experience. So there I will have to tailor it. I'll have to tell him that I'll have to use some references where this product has been used, number one, where people who have used epoxy flooring and who have changed to vinyl flooring, what their experience has been. And then, of course, a little bit of technical details, not too much of it, because too much of technical details, he may not, he will not be interested in that, but very simple technical details. So, as I said, the communication varies from audience to audience. Now, when I talk, I'll tell you, I was just telling you the difference of presenting a product between an interior designer and a factory owner. Now, supposing the same product, if I was going to tell it to I was going to explain this to my wife or my son, it will be entirely different. Because, for instance, because they also, as being family members, sometimes they have also posed these questions like what is vinyl flooring? What is it what is the use of this? Now, for instance, my son is doing his electronics and communication engineering third year. My wife, she's a housewife. So how I present this product to both of them, though they are my family members itself, it will be different. My son being an engineer, he'll be more interested in the technical aspects, whereas my wife, she will not be so much interested in the technical aspect. She will just, because for her, basically the flooring is what she sees commonly today available, which is tiles, vitrified tiles. So in what way is this better than a vitrified tile? So I'll have to accordingly tailor it. So communication, as you know, it is not just uh, merely speaking. You will have to tailor it to the audience and make them understand. At the end of the day, whether it's a public speaking communication or a one-to-one communication, the listener needs to get something out of what you say. So that is very
So
important.
basically
Yes.
what I understand from this is that we need to profile who we are speaking to, right? We need to have a background in understanding of who we're speaking to. We have to have a set of attributes about who these people, whoever it is that we're speaking to, what might motivate them. These attributes, we have to come to their terms with these attributes by being in their shoes, right? Empathizing with them. So generally, you feel that first we have to empathize, profile, or try to have an understanding. If we don't profile them immediately, at least have a kind of an instinctive understanding, an instinctive profiling. Okay, this is how the people that we're talking to view the world. So if we don't have that particular instinctive understanding, we can't start the process of communication. That's basically what I've received from what you mentioned right now about your own experiences with vinyl flooring and various other interior designer consumers that you have dealt with. Yeah, so from this, we move, I believe, at least what I've understood is that there is a process of listening involved in this, right? Where you're listening in and then profiling or coming to some kind of an understanding about your audience will pick up your message. Now, how would you profile or how would you do this kind of listening? Like, for instance, if you go to a customer who might require vinyl flooring as a factory owner and someone who's a interior designer or who's someone who is into the arts, any other form, maybe architect or anything like that. How is it that you would, how would you listen into them and present your case? How would you figure out what their attributes are and how they'd probably take the message that you have to give?
Now, actually, the thing is, please, you wanted to add something else.
Yeah, well, basically, I'm just trying to say because they both have different, histories, different ways of living. They wouldn't be living in the same way. They have different value systems, and they look at the world in a different manner because maybe a factory owner believes a lot in leadership and maybe he has more of a strict views towards the work process, which is possibly going to be an assembly line. Whereas the in architect or interior designer, his office is probably going to be spurned or moved by creativity. So the question is, how are you going to, basically come to understand these attributes? What is the method in which you're going to uh, form this kind of an opinion about any one of your audiences? How would you come?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, basically, any conversation, if you take business conversation, in both these cases, it's actually a business. End of the day, it's a business. So, from my experience, rather than directly getting into the business, you always need to build it up. It is very important. You need to build up the conversation. So, if you are meeting an architect, usually all these interior designers and architects, they're quite high-fi. So the way you build it up, the way you make the introduction to an interior designer and the introduction that you make to a factory owner, it is going to be different. So let us take, for instance, the first case of an interior designer. So you'll have to first, of course, the introduction part is there. So like, inquiring about the interior designer. Like how long has he been in this for this thing? I mean, in this company. I mean, how long from when has we started this firm? I came to understand because interior designers, you can find a lot of youngsters today. A lot of them who have actually worked in very big architecture firms. They get their initial training from there, and then they branch out. It is not like before, say about 10 or 15 years ago, where an interior designer joins, say, for instance, you are also from Kochi. You know about an architect called Ajit Associates or Kumar Group. So maybe about 10 to 15 years ago, the interior designer who has just passed out, who has done his architecture, he gets into Kumar Group. At least for about 10 years minimum, 6 to 10 years, he will remain with Kumar Group, and then probably he will go into another architecture firm. But now it is not the case. 2 to 3 years maximum. And then they start their own. And what happens is the main architect like Kumar Group or say Ajit Associates, small works of these architects, they give it to these people as subcontract. And then they slowly build up. So if I'm going to meet an interior designer, I'll first ask him. I came to, I just saw this name of this particular firm of yours, through the whatever just dial or they got referred to by one of my friends. So how long has it been? Your office looks really good. You have shown, the kind of interiors, because now it is not like before. Again, interior designers office itself is, the kind of designing that they do, because as you know, interiors is become a very important part as far as creating an impression is concerned. So first to learn, talk to him, give him hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can
I'm
you hear
here.
me? Yeah. So
Yes, I can hear.
first understand the client. Speak to him in a such a way that you try to befriend him and let him feel, make himself, he should feel comfortable. Asking about his work and the kind of works that he does. And then after that, start introducing your product. So not straight away introducing your product, first give a self-introduction. So normally what I do is I introduce myself. Like I'm so-and-so, I'm Hemant Srinivas. I've been in this industry for so many years because I've got 25 years experience. So I started from my sanitary ware, then went to modular workstations. Now I'm doing this interior floorings. So since the last 10 years, I've been in this particular field. And then
Okay.
accordingly present the product, the kind of value that it will add. Because in today's world, more than the structural part, the interior is more important. That is why you see so many of interior design. Interiors has become very important, and day to day, the kind of products that is getting added in the market, it is mind-boggling, Mr. Rahul. I mean, being up to date is really difficult because there are so many. If you take the bathroom fittings, if you take floorings, so many type of floorings. So interior designers basically, or interior architects basically, they are interested in adding value to their customers by creating a different sort of ambience for each customer. So you are, as me as a salesman, I'm trying to help them to achieve that particular goal. Now, the same conversation with a factory owner will be different. Now, if I go to Tamil Nadu or say in Kerala, mostly in these cases, the conversation will be when I go to a factory owner and end user to be either in Malayalam or Tamil, as the case may be. If I'm in Kochi or say in some other place in Kerala, the factory owner will be a Malayali. So naturally, the conversation 90 or 95% will be in Malayalam, or even 100% it will be in Malayalam. So again, the same technique, understanding the client, trying your best to make himself feel comfortable, creating that friendship and rapport, and then after that,
Okay.
introducing the product. Yeah. So I think any conversation that is important, Mr. Rahul, I think you need to, even if it is with your the wife or um, that
So
connectivity,
I
connection.
said, what I've understood from your speech here and from what you have mentioned about your own personal experiences is that a heart of communication is always listening into what is the state of the other, right? We begin great communication through perfect, or at least an attempted perfect empathy. And we attempt to empathize as well as we possibly can. So communication begins with fantastic listening skills. And this is what I've understood from your talk today about you know the your profession and how you dealt with various work aspects and you know the people that you sold your products to. So fantastic, it's great. So we'd say that it's a good takeaway. We're going away with the importance of the crux of communication being listening. Fantastic listening skills.
Yes, yes. Listening is
Thank
very
you.
important because
Yeah.
um, uh, actually communication, especially after I have attended your public speaking classes, my level of I have understood it is very, very important, Mr. Rao, because as you said, to just not oral, the oral part is only one part of it. The listening, being
Oh,
being passionate. It is something where you have to use your mind. So you need to
right,
improve your self-awareness through maybe through
right,
meditation or some technique. You need to be at it and to actually just put it in one sentence. This communication should form a very important part of the school curricula because the
right.
education system needs to really seriously review on this. I mean, unfortunately, I think we are short of time, but
We're short of
um,
time, I guess. So as per our moderators, it's time up right now. So anyway, I think most of those who listen into this video should always remember the importance of listening in great communication and preparedness to listen in order to make any achievements while communicating. Yeah, lovely,
exactly.
a lovely meeting happened. It was great.
Thank
So
you. Thank you. Thanks
yes,
a
we'll
lot. It was
meet.
always great interacting with you, and each
Yeah,
interaction is a value addition
it's about
for me, and it was very nice being the first podcast. I
yes,
mean, it's a
the first
learning
attempt.
experience. It's
Yes,
first
yes.
attempt. Yes, yes.
So yes, I'll
Yeah.
meet you on the other side of the show. Okay, Peter.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Take. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.